What's up everyone, it's Kovacs here, back on the Kovacs Sports channel, and today we're going to be giving you my top 25 rankings for the preseason of college football. I know we had week 0, but none of my rankings have really changed since then. I mean, I'm sure there have been some changes in my mind that have occurred, but nobody that played in week 0 I'm going to have in my top 25. Yeah, UCLA played really well, but I mean, we don't know how good Hawaii is, so I'm not going to rank them off of one game. Same with Fresno State, they played a bad team. UTEP, they played a bad team. San Jose State played a bad team, but you can make a case for San Jose State because they were good last year, but I'll tell you right now, I don't have them ranked. Illinois, I think they're a bad team. I think Nebraska is probably not a great team either, and Nebraska beat up themselves, so nobody who played in week 0 I'm going to have ranked. I'm sure my decisions on these 25 teams have changed in that time, but week 0, the actual thing about week 0 means nothing. These are my actual top 25 rankings, and I wish I could have got them out last week, but I just didn't have the time with everything going on in my life. So that being said, we are going to give you my preseason rankings today. I plan on doing a top 25 rankings video every single week of the college football season. I did do a spring top 25, so this is kind of what I'm going to be basing this off of, like when I talk about how much a team went up and how much a team went down. Another thing I want to point out is that I have a brand new podcast with my good friend Brevical. The first episode is out now, so make sure to go check it out. We talked about a lot of things, some things that I'll even mention in this video. So if you're a college football fan, and I assume you are if you're watching this, make sure to go check that out. I think you'd really like it. Either way, let's go ahead and get into my top 25, starting with the top 5. Number 1, Alabama, and number 2, Oklahoma, number 3, Clemson. Oklahoma, that stayed the same. I switched to Alabama, Clemson because I am a little bit less confident in Clemson and a little bit more confident in Alabama than I was in the spring. So I went ahead and switched those two around. As for Georgia and Ohio State, a lot of places are having Ohio State ahead of Georgia, but one, I didn't want to do the exact same thing as like the AP poll and other places. But two, the more important thing is Georgia to me is just a lot more experienced. There's some issues with the secondary for Ohio State, or possible issues, and we don't know for sure how good CJ Stroud will be. I'm going to go with a little bit more veteran team in Georgia, and I'm going to put them right above Ohio State. Moving on to the rest of the top 10. Once again, there are very few changes. I just switched North Carolina and Texas A&M around. We'll get to that in a second. Iowa State, I feel like, is just a top 6 team. I don't think they're in that top 5 squad just yet, but they're right up on the edge. They're knocking on the door, so I have them as the best of the rest, if you will. Texas A&M and North Carolina, I switched them because Texas A&M won last year, and I'm a little bit more confident about them than it was in the spring. So I'm going to go ahead and switch those two. I still think Cincinnati deserves number 8, though. So I was going to have Texas A&M and North Carolina, 1 at 7, 1 at 9. And because Texas A&M beat North Carolina last year, I'm going to go with the Aggies at 7. And then Notre Dame, I think they are worthy of a top 10 spot there in the playoff last year. I did think about putting them at number 11 and switching them with my number 11 team, but that is my top 10 for the preseason. I do want to say one thing. There are no changes in the top 10, really. In the rest of my rankings, there are only 2 teams that switched. The team at number 14 and the team at number 23. Or 2 teams that didn't switch, I should say, or that didn't move. So that is the team at number 14 and the team at number 23. So let's go ahead and get into that. The one team that I was considering changing with number 10 was Oregon. I think they're probably the best Pac-12 team, but Notre Dame made the playoff last year, so I gave them just a slight edge there. Indiana, I had them at number 11 last year. I was weighing on maybe dropping Indiana lower just because they may be a little bit overrated, but I think they deserve this number 12 spot. I think they're better than Wisconsin, who I had rocketing up. I had them all the way down at number 19 in my spring poll, or my spring rankings. It's not a poll, I just consult myself. But Wisconsin, I feel a lot better about than I did way earlier. So I have them rocketing up, but I wanted to keep them right behind Indiana. Miami, I put them at number 14 once again. The other team just kind of wound up at the same spot by chance. Miami, I felt like they deserved to stay at the same spot. My opinions on Miami have not really changed since my last poll, so I'm going to leave them at number 14. Then LSU, I had them going up 7 spots. I believe I had them at number 22 last time. I'm more confident in this LSU team. You can see as we get to the back half of this, I'm going to be less confident in some teams, and that's why they fell down. LSU, though, and Wisconsin, I'm a lot more confident in them than I was before. So that's why they're so much higher. Going into the second half, I have Florida at number 16. I had them at number 17 last time, but I believe I had one team falling way down, or just how it worked out, they ended up moving one spot. I think around 15 to 18 is about where the Gators belong. They lost quite a bit. They weren't, like, elite last year, but they were really good, so they definitely deserve to be in the top 20 at number 17. Was a team I didn't have ranked last time. That is Washington. I just feel way better about this team the more I look at them. The more excited I get if I'm a Washington fan. They had a good season last year. They kind of got snubbed out of not making the Pac-12 championship game. That was unfortunate for them. But I think Washington's going to be a good team this year. And so they went from not even being considered to be ranked. Actually, I had them at my number 1 honorable mention. So scratch that. They were being considered, but and then from basically number 26 all the way to number 17. So you could see my opinion on them has changed. Same with Louisiana. I'm not as confident on them, mostly because I realized I was way overrating them. I had them, I believe, all the way at number 12. I don't think they're that good, but I believe they return more production than any team in the country. This is a good Louisiana team. I think that they belong at the number 18 spot. I think they're definitely a top 20 team. And I didn't want to drop them too low because I still think they're a really good team. I mean, they beat Iowa State on the road by 17 last year, so take that as you will. USC, I had them going down 1. Kind of like Florida, that's just kind of how it ended up, but I wanted them in the same kind of area. My opinions on USC haven't changed that much. I am a little bit less confident in them just when I see kind of the competition in the Pac-12. Because you've got Oregon and Washington and Arizona State and Utah and maybe UCLA. So USC, not as confident in them. Then you've got Iowa here at number 20. Another team that my opinion hasn't really changed on. I'm a little bit more confident, I will say that. Kind of like USC though. USC has a little bit less confident. Iowa, I'm a little bit more confident, but I have them at around the same spot. Coastal Carolina at number 21, that is a team that I had fallen a lot. Kind of like Louisiana, I think I was overrating them. I believe I had them at number 16 last time. That was just too high, in my opinion. At number 22, I have Penn State. The Nittany Lions were not great last year. I think a lot of that was a fluke. The way they finished the season, it was a weird year and they had opt-outs. I think this is going to be a much better Penn State team. They also had time to improve. I think this should be a top 25 team and probably a top 15 team by the end of the season. These aren't my predictions for how the season will end, just based on what I know so far about the teams, this is how I'll have them ranked. And once again, none of these top 25 teams have played a game. Number 23 is Texas. They lost Sam Ehlinger. They lost their head coach. They fired him. Steve Sarkisian, who knows how good he'll be there, but I think they're deserving of a top 25 placement nonetheless. They're a team I am very interested to see how they do. I feel like it could be a boom or bust type season, maybe like a 7-5, 8-4 season, or somehow they couldn't have like a 10-2 season. I'm leaning towards that 8-4, 9-3 range. Then we have Utah, who I'm really high on this year. If you watch my Utah and Pac-12 championship predictions, I am really high on the Utes. And even though I don't have too much of a reason to have them ranked, just because I'm really high on them this year, I think they're deserving of a top 25 spot in my eyes. And then TCU, this is kind of what I was talking about on the podcast. Brinkel and I had a conversation about how TCU may be the third, possibly even, in his opinion, possibly the second best team in the Big 12. And the more I think about it, yeah, TCU could definitely have a really good season. Their coach has proven he is a really good coach. He turned this team around and made them really for a couple years a national powerhouse, it seemed like. So they're so close to making the playoffs so many times. I wanted to throw a curveball in here, and so I put TCU at number 25. Now let's go ahead and go over my honorable mentions. Ole Miss was one team I had dropping out. I had them at number 20. I've just seen a lot of places weren't really having them as high. The more I thought about it, I was like, yeah, maybe I'm overrating this team. Maybe they shouldn't be ranked right off the get-go. Then Arizona State, I also considered them, but I just didn't feel like I wanted to pull the trigger just yet and put them in the top 25. Especially with the offseason distractions, I'm a little unsure about this team. So I think it's a safe pick, putting them as an honorable mention. Think of that as Ole Miss at 26 and Arizona State at 27. The first team I list there is basically my next up, and then my next up is after that. In some weeks I'll have more honorable mentions, so it'll go on further. The teams I dropped out, Liberty, I just realized I was probably overrating this team. Ole Miss, I kind of talked about already. And Oklahoma State, I'm not real sure. I just don't think they're a top 25 team. They lost quite a bit. They didn't have a great finish to the season with their loss to Oklahoma, and I think they lost to Miami, and I think it was the Cheez-It Bowl, if I remember correctly. I could be completely wrong on that, but I know they played Miami in their bowl game. I think the final score is 37-34, but I can't remember who won. Kind of an important thing I should remember, but I do have them dropping out, just not as confident on them. Basically, treat this top 25 poll as a refinement of my spring poll, not poll rankings, going into the upcoming college football season. What do you guys think about my top 25 rankings? What is your top 25 rankings? Let me know down below. Also, make sure to check out my podcast. The second episode should be coming out soon. Once again, I want to thank you all very much for watching this video, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.